Welcome back. Premier League weekend, best and worst. Apologies, we're not in our studio. A few things having to be done in there. And apologies for this, just me talking about the Premier League. A new show is going to be coming your way, so stay tuned to that. So I'm going to give you my best and worst because the weekend was just too juicy not to talk about. Studio or no studio, I'm here to talk about it. So I've got my winners and my losers. So starting on a bright note, we want to start with our winners. So straight off the bat, I have to talk about Manchester City once again. A assured performance. They look so disciplined. Manchester City as a whole, but specifically David Silva. This wizard, as they call him the wizard in amongst the training camp, and no wonder. Floating around the field, so hard to pick up this season. No designated position out there, and it's so hard when you see McCarthy and Barry. They just didn't know who was going to pick him up in those holes. Didn't exactly score or have a direct effect as much on the goals. Well, he kind of did when he laid it into Sterling, who then laid it into Kolarov. Great finish, by the way. But he's just always making space, always finding those passes. And for me, this is going to be an outstanding season for David Silva. But I cannot talk about Manchester City without giving credit to Vincent Kompany and Mangala. I know you're looking at this, me talking about them this season. Remember what I said last year? They have definitely bucked up their ideas. Both of them at the back, I think with Otamendi coming in, has got Mangala that significant kick up the arse, which he needed because he was great. He still has those lapses where he dives in too early, giving away free kicks, as you see towards the end. He doesn't have to do that. He's big, he's strong, but when it came to him marking Lukaku, who by all means is not an easy opponent to mark, he was fantastic for me. So I have to give both of those guys credit because I think that they were outstanding throughout. So my second winner is more of a manager and a team, Alan Pardew. What a job he is doing at Crystal Palace. I know Newcastle fans were never a fan of him. The Geordie as well was never a fan of him. But since he's went to Crystal Palace, unified. That's what they've been. They have a unified formation in there. They know exactly what works. Specifically at Selhurst Park, they're a very hard team to beat. Another victory, and you have to just congratulate Alan Pardew on the work that he's done there and that he will continue to do. It's not an easy option to come around against a rejuvenated Aston Villa team under Tim Sherwood. But for me, I felt that they were just stronger team from start to finish, and I think Alan Pardew deserves all the credit out there because for me, he has got this mentality of a team that's hard to beat but also can play some pretty football. So for me, straight away, Crystal Palace definitely are a winner here. But Pedro, of course, you cannot talk about his opening debut weekend without giving him a winner. And I will touch on Chelsea as a whole. So don't worry, people that are looking for me to get on Chelsea's back, because they are by no means going to get off lightly in this video. But Pedro, what a debut. His goal, a little lucky, but what did I say he brings to this Chelsea team? It's that direct run. I know people are saying, it's so obvious. Yes, it's obvious, but why do people specifically in Chelsea don't do it as much? Willian likes to come back when he gets the ball, drop it inside. Pedro has got the best parts of Hazard, and he does them well. Like Hazard, when he's direct and he knows exactly what he's going to do when he's got the ball rather than coming back. Tippy-tappy, I think Hazard's still a better player. Don't get on me there, Hazard fanboys. But Pedro, as you see straightforward from his goal, passes it, moves directly into the position that he wants the ball, and he gets a shot off goal, takes a lucky deflection into the back of the net. Same thing with the counter-attack in football, which in all honesty, I didn't know if he would fit into as well. But he fit in perfectly in that example, crossed it in for his Spanish teammate, Diego Costa, who put the ball into the back of the net. But touching on the big Spaniard, he epitomises what is doing my heading at Chelsea. Jose Mourinho, your discipline is by far the losers in this situation. A sending off for Courtois, a little unlucky, it's a professional foul. Same with John Terry. That's not what I'm talking about. It's Diego Costa. He is so lucky not to get sent off again, just for a light headbutt movement. That's enough to get you sent off. What is wrong with this guy? He is a fantastic footballer, but he cannot go a game without getting involved. And he's always looking to get involved. It's not like he's suddenly under scrutiny when someone kicks him. I tweeted out at the weekend, I'll throw up a tweet here. You know what I love about Aguero? Gets kicked, pulled, pushed, doesn't complain. Gets up, shakes Jagielko's hand, even though he kicked him around the field a bunch of times. Diego Costa, if that was him, those two are going for a handbag fight off the field, because for me, he's got the strength that people would kill for in the Premier League, but he just doesn't like to take those little niggles. And he's always trying to get involved. Even after Chelsea scored the goal, still trying to get involved. It leaves me in disbelief at times. And I think that the same thing goes for Chelsea as a whole. Yes, I didn't say specifically that Terry's sending off and Courtois' sending off were two main issues, but there's still two red cards. Chelsea had by no means an exemplary disciplinary record last season. Well, exemplary, disciplinary, it's a hard word to keep saying after the back, but they didn't have that stalwart like golden boy image last season, and Jose Mourinho just doesn't seem to address it for me. I think he's a great coach. He's asked about John Terry sending off. I don't think, I just do You should think, mate, because that's 2 red cards in 3 games. So I think that Chelsea overall are definitely the loser on that standpoint, as well as their defending. 7 goals after 3 games is one of their worst conceding records, I think, in several years. So that has to be addressed. But they got the victory after all, so I'm not going to heap on them completely, because you saw how much it meant to Jose Mourinho. And my second and last loser, there wasn't as many losers as there was winners. I could have went for the Premier League Saturday day as a whole. So many draws. Come on, 1-1s, 0-0s. There's got to be more to that. But I'm going to touch on the 0-0. Newcastle versus Manchester United. It has to be a loser combined. I know I'm kind of going between without giving you one defined answer, but that's what I like to do, so that you guys can talk about it in the comment section. It has to be either Louis van Gaal or Manchester United's cutting edge, and they go together. He hasn't signed a striker in the transfer window. I think people still think that Rooney's this out-and-out striker. I think Rooney's a great player. I'm never going to say that Rooney, for me, isn't going to do a job with Manchester United, but last season, when I thought he was great, is when he was dropping back, linking up play. Him taking that high up position, he just doesn't play as well in there for me. And I think that Van Gaal should have went in and bought an out-and-out striker. I think everyone talks about Benzema. I don't think he could have ever left. But there was an opening there for Jackson Martinez. There was an opening there for Mandzukic when he was leaving. They could have done with players like that. And I think that overall, Manchester United at least needed another striker in there. You see Hernandez coming on. He's just a little hot and cold at the moment. He misses an obvious chance that you would have put your house on him scoring many years ago when he was in his prime. So I think that Manchester United's cutting edge finishing needs to be addressed, and for me it's a little harsh, but it has to be a loser on this example. So much possession, so much shots in the first half, but in the second half, Krul, despite that chance with Hernandez, never really looked to be pressured. The only person that pressured them seemed to be Shaw, coming from a left-back position, and that shows that they have to have more firepower and they need to get better shots on goal for me. So their cutting edge leaves a lot to be desired, I think, and a 0-0 draw at home to Newcastle is something that Manchester United fans and Louis van Gaal, although he said he was happy with the performance, won't be happy with the loss of 2 points, especially with teams like Manchester City firing on all cylinders at the moment. So stay tuned. Those are my winners and losers. We're also going to give you a recap of Arsenal versus Liverpool. Big Monday night football game coming up, and I look forward to talking about that. Let me know who your winners and losers were from the Premier League weekend in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at TYT Sports, me at Francis_Maxwell. Like my new official Facebook page. You can share me all your thoughts on there as well. I'll leave the link to that in the description below. And stay tuned for our new show, which I will continue to tease until we're on it. It's going to be great. So look forward to seeing you guys there.